What's up, robots? You'd not believe how many rerolls it's taken to find an assault sentry. But people have been talking on the Discord recently about assault sentry and saying that it could actually be good. So here I am to test it out and to prove that it's just not good. If you look at the damage table, I might put it up in the video, it's like bottom 60 DPS, like it's really low DPS, only slightly higher than like the starting pistol. And so yeah, we're just gonna double check a few things, see what interactions do and don't work, and we'll go from there. So at the moment I only have punch bolt upgrade and movement speed, so nothing that's really going to buff the alt fire of this. I have hand gripper, which you just saw me pick up, which is reload speed, and we're not going to be using any other gun. So first of all, alt fire does now, it didn't used to, does now proc elements of your weapon, so we can now do burn. It's doing 6 damage a shot. 6 damage a shot is important to remember for later. So it can eventually kill, and I would like to know how many shots it takes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 17 odd shots in the 15 seconds it has live. So it's slightly faster than 1 shot a second. It kind of takes some aggro, doesn't last very long, but I mean aggro's aggro, I guess. I'm going to be annoyed if I don't really get a proper chance to test much in here, because of how many tries it's taken to get this weapon. Now you can crit with it, which is something. I'm gonna... yeah, it takes about a second to place a turret, so if you've got enough charges to put 2 of them down, for instance, it's 2 seconds of DPS loss, which is the equivalent of killing something. Just about killed that in 15 seconds. I do want to see exactly how fast it shoots, so I'll probably slow this clip down with me watching it shoot, so I can actually identify its exact shot speed. So I can go frame by frame in the recording, which I can't do live, but I reckon it's probably between 1.25 and 2 shots a second, which means it's 12 DPS at the moment. So yeah, again, if you've managed to get the FX, that means you get to hold 2 up, then you can throw 2 turrets instantly down at the same time, which is useful, I guess. And these are going to make much difference. We'll put Quadrinity on, see if we can get Quadrinity to trigger on any of the shots. I don't think we can, but we'll see. Okay, so Quadrinity's on the next shot, so if I put this down here, didn't do any extra damage, okay. Such a painful weapon. There's a chance that I won't be using all of it, or all of the gameplay, and I'll just be skipping through bits and bobs to try and make a point, but we'll see. We will see. I've also just got back from camping, so I'm very tired, so I'm not really in the mood for proper full commentary. This is just showcasing the worst weapon in the game. Give or take one or two. Okay, so here's the important thing to note. So I've leveled up the weapon. So it's now, that should be doing another 10% damage. And we're still hitting 6 damage. So I guess we'll see later on if that damage ever goes up. Okay, so the weapon is a heavy weapon. So we'll see if the alt fire gets bonus damage now that we've picked up stone block. Should be increasing the fire rate with 35% and damage with 35%. Now the fire rate I don't expect to stack. We'll see what happens. Right, and we'll see if Javelin works with it. I have no idea why it's doing shock damage. Shock damage is the default element if you don't have an element on your turret. Potentially something I didn't realise, but it's still not really worth it because it takes so long to stun anything. And you'll note that the damage hasn't been buffed by stone blocks, so we are still hitting 6 damage. And I haven't seen a javelin proc from the turret bit either, so I suspect that it can't. I won't rule it out yet, but... And for anyone saying that turret isn't meant to be a main weapon and you're meant to just like throw the turrets down and then change your weapon to a good weapon, I still want to know why you would bother like a second or 2 seconds to put down 2 turrets that's going to increase your damage by 12 damage a second and give minor aggro, when you could have just taken that 2 seconds to kill the same amount of targets that it would have aggroed. I mean, the best thing about this gun at the moment is I just hit a 69. That's the highlight of this weapon so far. We'll see if Pyro Weapon affects it, so if it's now started doing fire damage. And it's now level 7, so we should start to see more than 6 damage, right? Okay, and just seeing 6 damage, and Pyro Weapon isn't triggering on it, so even things like elemental weapons just don't affect turrets, so you can't buff their damage that way either. I'm pretty sure the only fixes that really are going to affect it are the elemental fixes. Gotta concentrate a little bit because this room, as you all know, is quite difficult. Man, cells last for so long. That cell was there for ages before it disappeared. I mean, yeah, the turret's having innate shock, if that's what's happening here, is just so pointless as well. It just stunned one thing just then after being in the room for the whole duration. Well, the 10% damage bonus helped. We're now doing 7 damage a shot. So you can buff your damage with the elemental upgrade perk. Sorry, not perk, upgrade. That was a lot of damage to take. I fully don't expect this run to go very far, by the way. If I get past Energy Center, I'm just kind of gonna be glad at that, to be honest, because this weapon's just painful and I'm not putting too much effort in. Hey, hot dog. Now, if we had burn on the turrets again, hot dog would actually be half decent combo for this. But that's just because the item would then actually be stronger than the alt fire of this gun, which is a hilarious idea. Right, I'd also like to point out that the damage that I'm doing right now is with Stone Block. Like, Stone Block turns heavy weapons into amazing DPSs, and all it's done for this is make it feel like it's an actual mid-tier weapon at most. But it's taken one of the strongest items in the game to stack it to that point. Okay, we'll see if explosive shot works, or buckshot. Okay, so with two I'm managing to get a few turrets out, but the DPS is still really lackluster. And my downtime on DPS feels so painful with constantly putting turrets down. So just then I was testing to see if explosive shot is triggering the FX, and it's not, which I didn't expect it to. Haven't seen a turret buckshotting it either. Okay, so one of my turrets is doing shock. One of them is doing normal. So turrets don't do innate shock, which I didn't think they did. I don't have special turrets on it, so it's not just a different type of turret. So I suspect there is a bug that if you roll shock on the turret, it sticks with shock overall. Okay, so we can get Rubber Duck to see if that scales, and we can get Toaster to see if that will proc extra damage on the turrets. Okay, so Rubber Duck isn't proccing, Toaster is. So again, in that fight we had a lot of turrets down, but it still took a while and still wasn't that useful. It didn't put any aggro at all. Let's see if Aftershock triggers on it. So if we get a shock on this, there we go, we hit shock. I wonder if it will now start triggering. Okay, yeah, so there's currently a bug by the looks of things with turrets where if you roll shock on them and then roll off shock, you get to keep shock anyway. And it looks like Aftershock does buff them. Wow, that was one hell of a homing missile there. and close quarters doesn't buff them at all. And reload keeps interrupting me placing a turret. It's fun. Right, go back. Reducing alt fire would reduce time between placing turrets, but again I'm not really rating the turrets very highly, so don't really need more of them. They'll kill it eventually. So the damage, individual shot damage of this at the moment looks strong, but I know I've said it again multiple times, but bear in mind I have stone block, like buffing the auto shot damage of this gun by a lot. So none of the players' perks that I've found so far are affecting the alt fire. A few items are affecting them, but not all of them. Even the ones you'd expect to affect it aren't. Like Artichoke isn't affecting it, or at least Artichoke isn't affecting it when I'm abusing this bug, which could be why it's not affecting it. Toast is affecting it. Stone Block isn't. Haven't proved Viking Helm. Rubber Duck doesn't affect it, despite the fact that it is specifically an alt fire, which is hilarious. And I'm also having to abuse Q changing, because otherwise I have to reload every 25 shots, which would be a lot of time spent reloading. Anything's aggroing, even though I have 4 turrets down. Right, so the one use I found in this, is killing the little bombs that are dropped by these turrets up here. It's the only use. No, I had to sneeze during that. And then I got stunned as well. So I've had to stack so much damage to get these turrets worthwhile using. Artichoke is going to get me killed, which is funny because I'm not even getting any bonus out of it. So, to summarise, the damage doesn't go up as you level up the weapon, which means the damage of the turret's ult fire does not scale, which is the biggest reason I think this weapon sucks. Most of your character perks do not affect it at all, which means that again it just mostly makes them pointless. Item wise, not all items affect it, so you can't predict or accurately predict which items are going to benefit your build if you're wanting to build around turrets. So you have to just flat know which ones definitely do and definitely don't affect them. Aggro wise, it's very hit and miss. They can take a bit of a pounding, they can take some damage, which is okay, I guess. But things so inconsistently target them that it's not something you can rely on. And the same with drones. If you have a turret taking aggro, then sometimes that can put a projectile in a location you're not expecting it. If you are spamming multiple turrets with 2 turret setup, it almost becomes something usable. The other thing as well is most affixes on the weapon don't affect it very efficiently. So again, you'll have to know which affixes are working with it and which aren't through a lot of trial and error, which to me just seems like a whole lot more hassle than the weapons deserve, because they're such a bad weapon that I don't really understand why you would go through all that effort to try and identify which ones are and are not working properly. So right now what I'm doing is seeing if I can get both of them to have double sentry cooldown reduction, so that we can see something kind of silly on the last boss, but it's still not going to be good. It doesn't look like I'm going to get it, so I'm just going to keep going till I get either one extra ult fire or cooldown reduction. I'm not even getting that now. Ult fire shock. The fact that you even get a slowdown when you're placing turrets is really obnoxious as well. So I mean, yeah, you can spam turrets, but it's still not going to feel good. 31-minute run, it's painful. Alright, that's me looking into turrets. They don't seem that good. I might have some more information after the recording on exactly how much DPS increase the ult fire will give you, base, without any major upgrades or anything, but I don't know. Honestly, they feel so bad, I'm not even sure I can be bothered to put in much more effort than the several hours it's already taken me to repeatedly reroll. So thank you very much, peace out and enjoy.